everyone, I'm back with another devlog. For those who are new here, my name is John. I'm a composer and audio designer for video games, and I have recently started working on my own indie RPG game, and I've been sharing my process here on this YouTube channel. The music that you listened to at the beginning of this video was one of my scores for the indie title named Revenge of the Mage, developed by indie studio Singing Giant. If you are interested in fast-paced bullet hell type of games with roguelite mechanics, I would highly recommend for you to check it out. I'm leaving the Steam link in the description. Okay, so the last time I talked a little bit about why I wanted to develop an RPG game, and I have showed some of my early iterations of the enemy AI mechanics. In this video, I'm going to be talking about three things: the combat system that I'm trying to build, some further improvements in the enemy AI mechanics, and some new tactics that the enemies will use. And last but not least, I'm going to be talking about interactables and damageable objects that we are going to be using throughout the game. Now, as I'm talking about all of these updates, I will also talk about how all of these are going to be related to the RPG mechanics in the game, and mainly the character attributes. Okay, so before I show you how the combat plays, I'd like to talk about what's going on under the hood. The combat system that I'm trying to build is very much similar to the D&D based classical RPGs. I got a master clock that's been set by my combat manager, and its only purpose is basically set the round time, which is 6 seconds, and how many segments that are going to be within a round. And the current setup is 10 segments, which makes each segment 0.6 seconds. The way the characters are going to be performing in these segments are: when a character starts attacking, the first segment will be the action segment, and then they will have a cooldown segment. And the duration of those cooldown segments are going to be determined by a couple of things. The character's agility attributes is going to be one of them, the type of weapon that they use, and the speed bonus of the weapon that they use. In order to keep things a little bit interesting and break the staticness of the combat, I introduced an initiative system. Now, this initiative system is a little bit different than the turn-based combat initiative that people are more used to. In my initiative system, what happens is basically at the start of every cooldown section, each combatant will roll an initiative check, and if the initiative check fails, they'll basically wait for the whole duration of the cooldown before they get the chance to attack again. But if the initiative check is successful, they will get the attack immediately again at the next segment. And the way to increase their chances of rolling a successful initiative will be based on a couple of things. It will be based on luck, obviously, but also the character's agility and firearms attribute are going to be affecting their chances of rolling a higher initiative. So my objective with this system is to push the players to be building their characters towards having higher agility and firearms attributes, so they get to attack faster in combat encounters. So in my little graphic that I made here, you can see that the 10 yellow dots are the segments within a single round. A player at the first segment, they start with an action, and at the start of cooldown period in the next segment, if the initiative check fails, they will wait for the whole cooldown. Again, in their next action round, their initiative check fails, so they wait for the whole cooldown again. And in the third action, if the initiative check is successful, they get the attack immediately after in the next segment. So they get the attack back to back, which is quite advantageous. Okay, let me show you how this plays out in my project right now. When I play the game, when the combat starts, you'll see that as I'm attacking my enemies, you will see this initiative value at the top of my character. And right now, even if I roll a high initiative, I just rolled a 92, it fails. In order to increase my chances to having a successful initiative is if I come to the character attributes here and improve my agility and improve my firearms values, you'll see that, and maybe also luck, you'll see that I start to get more successful initiatives. And when I get to chance a successful initiative, my character shoots back to back. Now that he just shooted 3 times in a row. So that helps me hitting the enemy much faster, and you see that I just killed my enemy there. Now, the second thing I want to talk about the combat system is actually one of the core mechanics of the combat system, which is the exposure radius. So what exposure radius is that in any given moment in the combat, the hit chance of any attacker against their target is being calculated by how exposed that target is to the attacker, right? And here, if we play the game, show you what's been going on in the scene, you'll see that this triangular raycast is basically showing how much my character is exposed against my enemy here. So when I start combat, you'll see that when I'm behind a cover point, right now I'm not in a very advantageous cover point. So if you look at it from the top, you'll see that my left side is open to the enemy. And if I move my character here to this cover point, you'll see that I'm much more secure against them. From here, we can talk about an additional enemy AI behavior I just introduced. And that is, if we come here, the peek and shoot maneuver. Now, currently, I just put manual triggers here, but eventually I will implement these tactics into their behavior tree. But peek and shoot, as the name suggests, is when the enemy peeks out from their cover point to find a better angle against us. So here, if I set this up correctly, when I trigger the peek and shoot, my enemy is going to be peeking from my right side, because my right side is currently more open to them. So if I trigger it, he goes to my right side, find a better angle. He find a better angle, he shoot at me for a couple of rounds, and then he returns back to his cover point. Now, if I change my cover point and go to this one, now my left side is more open to him. So if I again trigger peek and shoot, you'll see that he will this time trigger from my left side, his right side, to find a better angle. How much he's going to be peeking out is based on their risk-taking mechanism, basically, because when he peeks out, he is also exposed as well. So if an enemy is very aggressive, they peek out more to find a better angle, but while doing that, they also expose themselves to my player more as well. Okay, so this was the new enemy AI behavior I introduced to the game. And finally, I like to talk about the interactables and combat damageables. Here, let me show you what I've been working on that front. Now, all the UI icons and models here are very terrible, I know that. I'm currently using free Unity assets just to work on the core mechanics of my game. But here, you see that this, well, it's green, so it's difficult to see. So let me increase my players' let me decrease my player's tech attribute to show you what I'm working on. So here, when I hover onto this little icon here, it basically says that in order to interact with this interactable, there is a minimum attribute requirement that my character needs to have, and that is the tech attribute needs to be 15. And if my tech attribute is not 15, my success chance is basically 0. And if I interact with it, we still get a dice roll, but it will always fail, right? When I increase my tech attribute to 15, now I fulfill the minimum requirement, but fulfilling the minimum requirement gives my player a very base chance of success. So right now it stands on 52%. So it's basically 50-50. So let's try our luck there. It failed again. And if I increase my tech attribute to 20, and let's give ourselves a little bit luck as well, because in every dice roll, luck also plays a part. Now, if I hover onto this UI icon, you will see that my success chance is very high. And if I interact with it, now I get a successful roll. What this interaction did is activating this gas tanks that you see here in the upper corner of the map. Same with this door. Now I got a higher tech, so I can basically hack this door and open it. So this is going to be one of the non-combat mechanics that I've been playing to use in a lot of different ways in the game. Your character attributes and how you form your party is going to be determining a lot of things about how a particular level will play out. So if you are playing a level that requires you to hack into the panels and hack into the systems and be more techy with your gameplay, you will need characters that have more higher tech attributes. But maybe in some levels, there will be chances for you to use your influence more against people, right? So you gain advantage in that way. So one other thing that I've been working on is these damageables. And now these gas tanks are activated, I can shoot them and explode them. And let me show you how that looks. Like this. Let me show you again. First I need to activate it. Let me again increase my tech and luck. Okay, I activate the gas tanks, and if I now shoot them, you will see that my enemy is pushed down to the floor. They are currently inactive, and if they haven't died, they'll get up again and start to shoot at me. How long they will stay on the ground will be again tied to their physique attribute. So a lot of the things that going on in the combat and non-combat sequences of the game will be determined by these core attributes that I've been working on. So right now I have 7 attributes. Let me briefly talk about them as well. Physique is, like the name suggests, it's going to be basically everything related to the physical prowess of the character. Agility is going to be everything about their speed and quickness and agility, basically. Perception will be everything about perceiving their environment and being aware. So I believe perception will have a lot of combat and non-combat uses. For example, in a combat situation, a character with higher perception are going to be aware of their surroundings, so they will be able to use damageables more. Whereas if a character has lower perception, probably some of the damageables will be unavailable to them. Again, in non-combat sequences of the game, there may be some doors or parts of the map that cannot be seen if you have lower perception, probably. Tech, as the name suggests, is how crafty our character is with technology. Firearms is how good are they with guns and weapons. And influence is basically anything related to the social skills, which I haven't really started developing yet, but I am planning to develop a whole dialogue and character interaction system as well, which influence is going to be playing a lot of role there. Luck is an interesting one because it doesn't single-handedly affect anything, but in any part of the game where there is a chance roll, when there is a randomness, a higher luck value basically shifts that chance upwards. Okay, so this is pretty much it. If you like what you see and if you want to support me, feel free to give it a like, a subscribe, and a comment maybe. I am aiming to release at least one devlog every month, constantly keep working on the game and building upon this foundation. So I hopefully see you in the next one. Take care.